Listen, guys, anytime the Lord gives you a set of instructions or warning concerning someone, listen. Because the Lord can see things that we can't see, okay? Let me give you an example. When I first moved to this neighborhood, the Lord would go on to give me warnings and prophetic insight concerning where I am, concerning the people that I'm living around, who was contending with who concerning me, who was pushing false narratives about me from the mouths of people who wanted to get in my way before I could even get here and get started and all. So the Lord was telling everybody's business, okay? He was like, look, this lady up here in this office is talking to this neighbor over here in your building, telling this neighbor stuff about you. They were talking to so and so from where you moved from and told these people you were this and you were that. And this neighbor has a false perception of you and he's sick in the mind. And like the Lord was just like giving me all of the rundown when I first moved here, right? Because that's what he does with his people, especially his prophetic vessels. I told y'all he show us stuff that y'all don't want him to show us concerning y'all a lot of the times, and he was definitely doing it. And I remember when I first moved here, he was telling me about this neighbor. And he was saying, I want you to be very careful about this neighbor because this neighbor is contending with the people in the office, and they've said a lot of bad things about you before you could even get here and plant your feet and get started, right? And he said it's some people that are going to have some negative perceptions, and they're going to think that you're something you're not, and going to have negative ulterior motives toward you. And I just want you to be careful contending with people. And he was like, especially this neighbor, because this neighbor has an antichrist spirit. Okay. And the Lord will go on to allow that antichrist spirit to rise. But first, one of the things I noticed with him when I first moved out here was his feeling so comfortable for whatever reason, coming to my door, knocking, banging on my door, wee hours of the day in the evening, like we knew each other or something. And he would just come knock on my door, trying to offer me stuff, trying to offer my kids stuff. And I know a lot of you guys would probably say, well, he was just being a good neighbor. No, that's not what that was. This man was trying to get close to me for a negative reason. And I knew that because the Holy Spirit was warning me about this guy. He just kept saying, be careful about this guy. Be very careful about this guy. And then he would keep showing me this lady in this office up here, right? And so I said, okay, Lord. And I remember when he kept coming and knocking on my door, like we were some kind of a couple or something. Like this is literally how he was doing it, y'all. And this is like my first week here. I didn't even know this man's name. And I stopped him dead in his track. I remember he knocked on my door one day and I was like, can I help you? And he was like, yeah, I was coming over here, to give you and your kids some things. The Lord said, don't accept anything from this guy. Take that stuff and throw that stuff out. And that's exactly what I did. And I did it in such a way where he knew it too. And I stopped him dead in his tracks, like pretty much don't be coming over here knocking on this door. Ain't nothing over here for you. Ain't nothing in this house for you. Ain't nobody interested in you. And he's one of those drunk, belligerent people too. Like I said, he has an antichrist spirit. And I noticed he would try to initiate conversations with me whenever he would see me, coming and going. And it was always very hateful, very negative. He felt the need to express to me how he did not like this Jesus stuff and Christian stuff and this and church folks. And I'm like, who asked you? Nobody asked you if you like the Lord and his people or not. The Lord probably don't like you. As a matter of fact, I know he don't. Like, okay, like, no, bro, didn't nobody ask you? I don't care. I don't care what you heard. I don't care who you've been contended with concerning me. I don't care. Leave me alone. Nobody asked you. And I just wouldn't go back and forth in a conversation with this guy because he's just one of those belligerent, drunk, antichrist, blob of blob, okay? And those type of people really irritate me And I know how I am. Before it's said and done, I've been on, embarrass him and every demon in him. You know what I mean? So, and I didn't move out here for this. I knew my purpose. I know my purpose. And I just didn't care to really contend with this guy. And then another thing I noticed that he was doing, whenever he would see a guy talking to me, he would get irritated and would get agitated, y'all. And I was like, what is that about? Like, he looked like we a couple or something. You know what I'm saying? And he did it with a maintenance guy that used to work out here. And then he did it with a neighbor that had came up to me and was talking to me one night when I was standing out on the little rails, on the little steps or whatever. And I noticed every time he would see a guy talking to me, he would like stomp around, huffing and puffing, slamming his door, act like he had an attitude. Now, mind you, this is somebody I didn't even know his name. So that tells you about how much I was contending with this. Like, I wasn't contending with him at all. Like, even in the conversations he would try to initiate with me, I would just, brush him off and go on about my business because he ignorant. And I just don't deal with ignorant, stupid people, okay? And I remember contending with the Holy Spirit and asking the Holy Spirit what that was about. I was like, Lord, why does he do that? And the Lord revealed to me that this man had a weird obsession with me. He said that man has a weird obsession with you, okay? And the Lord told me this in a warning, y'all. I remember I was in here, I was contending with Christ. I was trying to go to bed. The Lord wouldn't allow me to sleep. He just kept giving me warning about this guy, just kept showing me stuff about him. But then he kept showing me this woman in this office as well. And so I was just putting everything together and I was like, oh, okay, that's what this is. And he said, be careful about this guy because this guy has negative motives, negative intentions, and a false perception of you and has this sick obsession concerning you. And I want you to be very careful and watch yourself around this guy. Don't contend with him. And I wouldn't. And I remember one night I was talking to a neighbor, on the steps. He had initiated, small talk with me, nothing major. And he storms out of his apartment, drunk and belligerent. He's one of those guys you can smell the alcohol before you see him. And I remember him rudely butting in on the conversation. And he was letting us know, we don't have a property manager anymore. And I already knew that, right? But the Lord said that was his way of breaking up that conversation because of his obsession toward you and with you. He didn't want that guy talking to you. And the Lord he was giving me a lot of like prophetic revelation and warning concerning him. And he said, he's the type of guy that because you wouldn't give him any play, he will go around and try to make it seem like you and him are some type of item or a couple to disarm any of the other guys who may have an interest in you or to try to stop other guys from talking to you. That way he can have like a clear pathway to initiate whatever it is, whatever motives that he have towards you. So it was like he was trying to put a stamp on me. And it was very one-sided. It is very one-sided because I'm like, ugh. You know what I mean? Like, wow. Well, thank you for telling me. Thank you for warning me. And it's not the first time that I've had some weird encounters with weird dudes. Y'all, I get some sick stuff sometimes. I could be minding my business and out of nowhere, here comes a weirdo and a sicko. And some of y'all have dealt with that too. So, but the Lord was just like, please be careful about this man. This man is dangerous. And I don't want you to take lightly what I'm showing you. He just kept showing me this man's behavior. Another thing this guy was doing, if he would see me out and about, he would pull up like on me in his vehicle and be like, hey, how you doing, baby? And I remember getting at him one day. I was like, excuse me? I was like, you don't have a baby over. That's not my name. Don't call me that. Find you something else to do. God bless you. Take care. And like shoot him away, right? And he was upset, y'all. Like he was like huffing and puffing. I mean, he was hot. And I remember him speeding off in his vehicle into the middle lane of the track. He didn't even look both ways. Almost got in a car accident and everything. And the Lord said, "You see what I mean?" He said, "This man can't even accept rejection." And I'm telling you, he has a sick obsession toward you. I mean, look at how he's trying to push off to other people that you guys are some kind of item, and you don't even contend with this guy. You don't pay him no attention. It's all in his drunk, antichrist, belligerent, ignorant mind. It really is. And he's the type of guy that will make it look like, you guys are an item to other guys, to try to stop other guys from talking to you. He's the kind of guy that would spread false rumors about you, and you would never know it. You be out and about, and you wondering why people looking at you all kinds of crazy. He does this when he can't get his way with women, right? And then he said he's also the kind of guy, when that doesn't work, because he has a little pattern that he does. He said when that doesn't work, another thing he'll try to do is start going around to neighbors, especially those in your building, and making it seem like you're a problem or you're a disturbance to him. All of a sudden, like you're some kind of an issue to him, like you're a problem. And he'll try to push it off to other people as if he don't like you for some reason, like you did something to him. And he said he'll do that so that he can harass you the way that he want. And into other people's mind, to other people, they'll be like, "Oh, well, he doesn't like her, so why would he do that?" You know what I mean? Like they wouldn't take heed to what it is that he's doing. So he's trying to set it up to where he can freely harass me and do whatever he wants to do. And another strange thing that just happened yesterday is that one of the guys out here, I think he's like the neighborhood candy guy or something. He goes around from this neighborhood to other neighborhoods selling goods and candy. And I remember exchanging phone numbers with that guy and his wife, because their two little girls go to school with my son. And the mother was inquiring about braids for her little girl. Okay, so they had my number. And I remember, I believe was it yesterday or day before yesterday, myself and my kids were out on a family outing. And because I usually buy stuff from this candy guy, like juice and stuff like that, little snacks, he was coming to my building to see if I wanted to buy anything. And he said, "When I came to your building, I was cussed out by this bald head guy that drives this white Hyundai, whatever." And he said he cussed me out so bad, and he was just like, I wasn't trying to cause an issue between you and your husband and you and your boyfriend. I ain't trying to cause no issues with your household. And I'm like, "What are you talking about? What issue? What happened?" And he told me when he was coming up here, the neighbor, the same guy, stopped him and asked him like who he was looking for. And he said, "Oh, I'm just going up here to this lady right here in such and such apartment to see if she want to buy some stuff from me too as well." And because he had already was selling some stuff around here to some of the people. And the guy told him that he can't come to my apartment, that he ain't allowed to come up here to my apartment and knock on my door. Don't nobody want that MF and SH. Don't nobody eat that S anyway. Take that S somewhere else. I mean, cuss this guy out. And told him that he wasn't allowed to come to my apartment and knock on my door. Like he live here or pay some bills or know me. Y'all, that's creepy. Like, I don't care what nobody say. That's some creepy stuff. And I remember when he called me to tell me what happened, he said, "Hey," he said, "I came by here, you weren't home, and this is what happened, and I wasn't trying to cause no issue." I said, "Wait, say what?" Tell you what, you and your wife, y'all come back up, come back over here. And so he ended up coming. I think his wife stayed home with the kids, but he ended up coming and bringing his goods and stuff that he sells. And as he's standing on the porch telling me what happened, this same neighbor overhears him talking to me and was upset that I was standing outside talking to this young man, storms out of his apartment with that rabid dog barking like it's on drugs or something. Just, child, y'all should have seen it. Storms out of his apartment, slams the door, huffing and puffing, storming, stumping down the stairs, I was like, yo, that's something wrong with that man. And he was like, yeah, he was like, that's how he was acting when I came up here. And I told him, I won't go into nobody else's apartment. He said, because I about know who's supporting buy my stuff anyway. And he said, I was only coming to knock on your door to see if you want to buy some stuff because you buy stuff from me. And I really do. If I don't catch him at the bus stop, he'll come and knock on my door. And I'm one of them people, if I don't want you to knock on my door, I'll tell you. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, don't come to my house. But I know that that's what the guy does. He goes around to the different neighborhoods, not just this one, and a lot of other neighbors' apartments or whatever. And like I told him, if I had an issue with it, I would let you know. I said, now I can't tell you, you know, you can go to their door. If they don't want you, you know, knocking on their door, that's between you and them. I said, but nobody has a right to tell you that you're not, that you can't come up here, that you're not allowed to knock on my door or come to my apartment. He said, no. He said, that man said, I cannot come to your apartment. Don't come over there. Don't go over there to her house. Don't. He was saying it like he was trying to police it, like he lives here. He said, I actually thought the way that man came at me and cussed me out, I actually thought that was like your husband or something. And that raised an alarm. And I was like, wow, that's getting out of hand. And I contended with the Holy Spirit, and I said, Lord, what was that about? He said, I'm to tell you again, be careful about this man. This man has a sick obsession with you. And he's tried to hit on you. He's tried to, you know, he had his little subliminal ways that he's tried to, you know, talk to me and see where he can kind of like slide in and get close. And he said, you don't give him the time of day. You're not interested in him. He knows that. And he can't accept that. Like, he can't accept the rejection. So what he's going to try to do next is make it seem like you're a problem. And he said he's one of those guys. He will try to stop people from talking to you and coming to your apartment, or, you know, speaking to you or engaging in a conversation with you. He said, you've seen it for yourself. You've seen it with your own eyes. And I have, from the maintenance guy to another neighbor, and then now cussing this young man out who wasn't coming here to cause anybody harm, and to tell somebody that they're not allowed to go to somebody's house that you don't even know. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this wasn't on no neighborhood watch kind of stuff. Like, I get that too. I get, you know, neighbors looking after others. That's not what this was. This man has a problem, y'all. And that's not me reading too deep into anything. Like, the Lord said, be careful about this man. This man, he's sick. He's sick. And when he would try to engage in conversations with me, it was always in a way to try to exert some kind of, I don't know, like authority or power or control over me. And I said, all right, Lord, this man gonna try something stupid, and I'm gonna fix him up real nice. And the Lord was just telling me how this man be watching me and stuff. He said, that man be watching you, because he told the young man, he was like, she's not even home. Well, how you know I won't home? My God, all these, and this is a busy area. It's a big neighborhood. It's a high traffic area. In order for you to know who's coming and going and who's doing and what time, that you got to be like really tuned in on somebody. I mean, I'm very vigilant, and I can't tell you, you know, if somebody in their apartment or not, like, you know, like I just don't, you know. And he was like, I want you to be very careful. He said, that man, he thinks that you're something you're not based off of somebody else's mouth, for one. He said, and I'm going to deal with that. He said, don't you worry about that. He said, but I also want you to be careful. And I'm careful anyway. I don't, you know, carry myself a certain way. I don't be all up, you know, skinning and grinning in nobody's face and none of that. I really mind my business. And it's me and my kids that stay here. And I think that's another thing. The Lord was like, he been watching you, so he know ain't no man there. He knows don't no dudes and people be coming back and forth to your place, so he feels comfortable doing this. And he said that man, if he had the perfect opportunity, he'll try something. And I said, okay, well, yeah, let him try it. And the Holy Spirit would laugh, because like he knows, like me and God have this relationship, and he knows Like, God, don't you warn this man, give him an encounter with you so he don't pull nothing stupid and let the devil use him to die.